Rosa Parks was not famous. She was not rich. She was not powerful. She was just tired. Not tired from work alone. She was tired of being invisible. Tired of being told where to sit. Tired of being treated as less than human. But that quiet refusal, that one small act, would change the world forever. Rosa Parks was born on February 4th, 1913, in Tuskegee, Alabama. Her childhood was shaped by hardship. Her family was poor, but they were strong. Her parents taught her the importance of dignity, respect, and education, even in a world determined to deny her those rights. She learned early that life would not give her anything for free. She had to fight quietly, patiently, and persistently for everything she wanted. She learned that courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, and firm. Rosa's life was ordinary, but her resolve was extraordinary. She grew up witnessing injustice. She saw her parents struggle to survive under a system that told them they were inferior. She watched her community being pushed to the margins of society. She felt the sting of discrimination every day. From childhood, she knew that the world was not fair, but she also knew that fairness was something worth fighting for. She understood that injustice would only end when someone had the courage to resist it. She understood that one person could make a difference. In those days, buses were divided by race. White passengers sat in the front. Black passengers were forced to sit in the back. If a white passenger needed a seat, a black passenger had to stand, even if the bus was crowded. The rules were clear, and the consequences for breaking them were severe. Arrest, humiliation, and sometimes even violence awaited those who dared to defy them. Every day, Rosa Parks followed those rules, not because she agreed with them, but because breaking them came with a price. She knew that one small act could lead to danger. Yet, she also knew that living under oppression without resistance was a slow death of the soul. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks finished her workday as a seamstress. Her body was tired, her mind was tired, and her spirit was weary. But that evening, something inside her shifted. She boarded the bus to go home, paid her fare, and sat down in the colored section. The bus began to fill with passengers. Soon, white passengers entered, and the bus driver demanded that black passengers give up their seats. 3 people stood up. Rosa Parks did not. She refused. She stayed seated, calmly, quietly, resolutely. The driver threatened her. She did not move. He threatened to call the police. She remained seated and hid it. Rosa Parks was arrested, handcuffed, taken to jail for sitting, for refusing to obey an unjust law, for claiming her dignity. That night, fear and anger swept through the black community. But instead of cowering, people began to organize. Churches opened their doors. Leaders emerged. One young pastor named Martin Luther King Jr. rose as a voice of hope, of courage, and of change. Together, they planned a peaceful protest, a bus boycott. The Montgomery bus boycott began. For 381 days, black citizens refused to ride the buses. They walked miles to work, in the rain, in the cold, in the heat. Old people, young people, mothers, students, workers, everyone. They walked because one woman had the courage to stay seated. The city tried to break them. Arrests, threats, violence, bombings. Yet the people persisted. Every step they took was a message. Injustice would not be tolerated. Every mile they walked was a testament to courage. Every day they endured hardship was a promise that freedom was worth the struggle. Finally, the Supreme Court declared segregation on buses unconstitutional. The law changed, but more importantly, hearts began to change. The world had witnessed the power of one act of resistance. Rosa Parks lost her job. She received death threats. She and her family were forced to relocate. Her life was not easy after that day, but she never regretted her decision. She once sighed, "I did not get on the bus to get arrested. I got on the bus to go home." This was the essence of her courage. It was not about fame. It was not about recognition. It was about doing what was right, even when it was hard, even when it was dangerous, even when no one else would stand with her. Her story teaches us that change does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it is the quiet refusal to accept injustice. Sometimes it is the steady heartbeat of a person who refuses to be intimidated. Rosa Parks didn't wait for the perfect moment. She didn't wait for everyone to agree with her. She didn't wait to be fearless. She acted when it mattered. Her act was not just about a bus. It was about dignity. It was about respect. It was about demanding a life where every human being is valued equally. In a world that tells you to sit down, stand up for what is right. In a world that tells you to stay silent, speak with your actions. In a world that tells you you don't matter, remember Rosa Parks. One seat, one moment, one decision, and the world was never the same. Rosa Parks' courage was not limited to that one day. She continued to fight for justice all her life. She worked with civil rights organizations. She traveled the country, speaking about equality. She met with leaders. She inspired generations. She showed that ordinary people could achieve extraordinary things. That courage is contagious. That one small act can start a movement. Even when the world seemed impossible, Rosa Parks demonstrated that persistence pays off. That hope can prevail. That one person's stand can spark a revolution. Today, racism and injustice may look different, but they still exist. People are still judged by the color of their skin, by their gender, by their background, by their religion. The fight is not over. But Rosa Parks' story reminds us that we each have the power to make a difference. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear. Courage is standing when others sit. Courage is speaking when others remain silent. Courage is taking a step, even if it is the only step you can take. Rosa Parks lived to see the impact of her actions. She received awards. She was honored by presidents. She was celebrated worldwide. But the greatest reward was the change she inspired, the lives she touched, the hope she ignited. She once sighed, "Each person must live their life as a model for others." Her life is still teaching us today. Her story reminds us that we are never too small to make a difference. That one act of bravery can change the course of history. That ordinary people, through courage and conviction, can become extraordinary. So, if you are struggling today, hold on. If you are doubting yourself, stand firm. If you are afraid to take a step, take it anyway. You never know who is watching. You never know who will be inspired. You never know how far your courage will travel. Rosa Parks didn't plan to change the world. She simply refused to accept injustice, and that was enough. Her legacy continues to remind us that change is possible, that justice can be won, that dignity must be defended, that courage, even in its quietest form, can shake the foundations of oppression. History will always remember Rosa Parks, not just as the woman who refused to give up her seat, but as a symbol of unwavering strength, dignity, and hope. Her story tells us that we all have a seat in the fight for justice. Her story tells us that our actions, however small, can echo through generations. So today, take a moment to think. What is your seat? Where do you stand when the world asks you to sit? What injustice are you willing to confront? Because one decision, one moment, one act of courage, one refusal to accept wrong, that is all it takes to change history. Let Rosa Parks inspire you. Let her courage guide you. Let her story remind you that even in the darkest moments, ordinary people have extraordinary power. If this story inspired you, if it reminded you of your own strength, if it motivated you to stand for what's right, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe for more powerful stories that change lives. Because courage is contagious. Because change begins with one person. Because history is written by those who refuse to sit down.